The Wavelengths present a conversation with everyday people doing extraordinary things, making the world a better place. Meet Dina Ziskin-Fortune, artist, channel, energy activator, and healer. Dina channels soul language and activation codes with the use of her voice, drumming, movement, and painting. Dina is also tapping into the akashic field and can assist others with a deeper connection with themselves, creativity, perspective shifts, sovereignty, and embodiment. Dina's skills include intuitive card reading, painted light code, spoken soul language, and shamanic singing and drumming. We hope you enjoy our conversation with Dina.
Hello, I'm Sandy.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, I'm Jante.
And we are the Wavelengths.
So today we are so excited to share this space with Dina Ziskin-Fortune. Dina is so many things. She's a soul language, light language activator. She is a channel, an intuitive painter, passionate about all things galactic, dragon realms, just a magical being. So we actually met. I found her in a Facebook group a few months ago, and I was just scrolling through, listening to things, and then I heard this voice talking about dragon light language sessions, and I just got chills throughout my entire body, and I immediately contacted her and said, I would absolutely love a session with you and do a trade. And we've been friends since then. So Dina, what are you up to right now? Let's start there. What has been going on in your world?
Oh, wow. So right now I am developing more intuitive art experiences and getting my name out there more to share what I'm doing and developing it more. I am putting out offerings of for the purpose of doing activations so that people can find me, those that are meant to find me for connecting with their soul language, and also akashic record experiences. And so I've been really starting to put my offerings out there and make it easier for people that are called to experience and feel more into their authenticity with my, experiences. um, but basically, painting, as much as I can do. I have some live events coming up.
Mhm.
And I do a lot in Facebook Lives, where I do readings and channelings and activations, and I like to partner with people and doing collaborations where we each bring our magic together.
Oh, that's
So there's a
amazing.
whole cacophony of things that I'm doing.
Yeah, I feel that. So your your art activations, you want to talk a little bit more about those, and so you're and just speak stream of consciously about how
Yeah, it's
yeah.
funny. Um, so I do intentional painting, so I channel intentional paintings, uh, either, for an individual that books a session with me, uh, where I basically go into a space where I can channel energy codes for them,
Mhm.
calling in their higher self, calling in, their guides, my guides, so that I'm channeling whatever codes are meant to come through for them in a way of a painting. And then I give them a message that goes with that. So it's really kind of based on where they're at in their life. Maybe they just want some more joy in their life. Maybe they want to ignite their spiritual gifts. Maybe they want to, whatever it is, pretty much they will let me know on, and then also intuitively I'll channel codes that'll come through in a way of a painting. So I do that in like sessions. And I also do it where I do sessions and then I do the painting and then send them the painting and I send them a channel message that goes with it. So I'm experimenting with different ways of delivering the art basically.
Mhm. Yeah. And so the messages that you channel, so it's both you know, in English, but also in soul language and light language. So it's like a combination
Yeah.
of types of vocal channeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been an experience. I mean, sometimes I'll be channeling and and the sounds that come out of my mouth just take me by so surprise and I'll be doing that while I'm painting. So it's
Mhm.
coming out of my mouth and it's coming through my hands at the same time.
Yeah, so it's like they go together. The language is directing the painting, so it's like a collaboration.
Yeah, basically. And it's been really interesting because the energy comes through my hands and then it transfers in through the paintbrush and so like instead of just me using my fingers to just do this, um I use the combination of color and the movement. So it's like the energy is dancing with color on the canvas.
That is so beautiful.
Definitely. I'm curious because I've heard these terms many times. Is there a difference between soul language and light language?
There is, it's just very so okay, the best way that I've been able to explain it is where there's certain dialects that are more embodied with my soul and those that's my soul language. So like dragon, my light language, my soul language is a combination of dragons and and also Lyran, like the dialects that are I've had experiences with where like they're able to come from my soul, from me.
Right.
And there's or like aspects of me. And because I've had many lifetimes, like Lyra, Pleiades, all that. And then but then light language is more like an energy that's not within my soul, not part of my
Okay.
energy, and that's coming through. But I'm more like usually more intentionally bringing in the light language. Uh,
So it's more channeling through you as opposed to coming through connections that you've had when in physicality or
yeah,
etheric or whatever.
that's the closest way I feel like I can explain it.
Well, that's clear, though.
Yeah,
Good
that's
job.
fair.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so it's like I will channel butterflies, but like that's more light language because I feel like that's more like
other.
yeah, it's more like other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you're channeling these dialects of soul language, you immediately recognize the difference by the sound and the energy that comes through. And I don't know, I'm just so fascinated by the different dialects of the language. So if you have any
Well,
stories or insights to share.
well, a lot. So my strongest clair is claircognizance.
Hmm.
So, which helps because then it's just kind of like, oh, what's this? Bing.
Uh,
And and then like I get it, but sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes I have to like do a little bit more recording it and listening to it and seeing how I feel. Because there's that whole, it's been a learning process because sometimes, learning like the difference between my soul language and light language, sometimes it almost feels the same.
right.
And so for me, as long as with the intention that I'm channeling and I'm communicating for the highest good, at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
But for some people, like sometimes it's nice to know. It's just for me, like, okay, now I'm channeling my soul language, so that I can identify when it's another dialect, so I can communicate with people what that is. So it's been a process of learning as I go, to be
Yeah.
honest. You know,
Yeah.
I can't say I know it all because I don't.
Well, that does seem to be the way of these things.
And there are times where like I feel like I am channeling Hathor, the Hathors, right?
Hmm.
Right.
And then I channel it and I share it with someone and they're like, "No, that sounds Indian to me." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay."
that's interesting. But it felt as it was coming through you that it was the Hathors.
Yeah.
And so the person listening either, wasn't as connected or they had a different frame of reference for what the Hathors sound like.
Or it
Or,
may be something as simple as you came from the region of India, so you had that accent. And during your travels, you crossed paths with the Hathors and connected.
that's true.
You know what? And I totally believe that because I connected with someone that we found out that we had a life together in India.
How about that?
How about that? And we
Yeah,
were
but
brother and sister. I mean, this journey has been like incredible. Ever since becoming activated. And honestly, like if you were to ask me when my first activation was, I can't even remember.
two
Hmm.
or three.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking up when you were around 2, 3 years old.
Oh, interesting. Because
And you
what's
could
funny?
see things.
Really, I don't remember any of this.
That's
Wow.
okay.
What I do remember is being 3 and dancing in my bedroom and my father opening the door and being like completely like you can't dance like that. Like I was dancing like I was way older.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, you've been doing this. My sense is you've been doing this work actively since you're around 2, 3 years old.
Oh, this is so cool to know that.
Well, and to validate it, just think of the many times that you have primarily gone up to relatives and babbled.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, so much of my childhood is blocked out.
Hmm. And if you need to know it, you will.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about, like, you have Celtic Dragon Reiki and the dragon work that you do. So could you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So, interesting. When I first um saw the dragons, I started seeing a dragon in the sky. Giant cloud in the shape of a dragon. And it led me to my friend Brandy Yavicoli. And she's a dragon channeler as well. And I started getting some channelings from her, and she was teaching Celtic Dragon Reiki and dragon empowerment. And I was like, I have to do that.
Yes.
And when before I did that, I received some channelings from her, through her, from the dragons, about the work that I would be doing with them through the art. And that's basically me channeling the energies from them into the art, for the art to be a catalyst. And so that when people walk by my artwork, they receive something. They receive
Right.
those that they're meant to receive.
Is that your artwork behind you?
Yes, this is some
Yeah.
of it.
Wow. Powerful pieces.
Thank
Wow.
you. This is, oh, look, it's so there's some of the dragons, and there's like, ooh, there's some more. And eventually these will not be on the wall anymore, because they're eventually going to go to where they need to go to. But the work with the dragons has been a combination of me learning the Reiki and being activated with attuned, and then
Mm-hmm.
they let me know that I can attune others, that I can give sessions to attune other people to the energies that are in their highest good. And then I decided that I was going to do the Celtic Dragon Reiki course. It was like a 3-part course. And that was more about me being able to embody my dragon energy, and being able to then feel more empowered to really move forward. And I have the dragon Reiki symbols, or 4 symbols. And then there's the Sekkhem dragon. And the Sekkhem dragon I work with for akashic record readings, and just whatever is meant for that person. But the Sekkhem dragon is about empowerment and strength. So it's really about working with people to empower them to be their most authentic self. So whether it's through art, whether it's through their writing, it's just their expression, it's really about um, channeling the messages with their assistance and the energy, because I work it all together, and sometimes it just all blends, right?
Right.
So, was there a question that you have that I haven't answered, because I get a little off on tangents?
Well, so far, very interesting. So thank you for going off on your tangents.
I love your tangents.
Good tangents,
So,
for
so
sure.
the dragon activations and attunements that you've done with people, can you tell us about that? Because I know that each experience is really different, and so I don't know, just what are
Well,
some
there's
nuances of the
many.
dragon energy?
Um, wow. Well, I have an example. This is interesting. So I have a friend who's got a son with a lot of dragon energy, and she let me know that he was having a lot of like energetic, like just really having a hard time with the energies, and going to bed, getting up, and all these different things. So I sent him some dragon light language, and he responded. And then I got to go see her and him, and I got to interact with him. And then she booked me to do a soul language painting and um, sounds, channel
Mm-hmm.
energies for him vocally. And I worked with the dragons to do that. So I sent it to them for him to listen to. So I made little videos with the channeling of the audio, with the intention of whatever it was for him. And that was one way I worked with him, worked with the dragons. And the videos are work. She reported to me that the videos are really helping him. And it's just, setting the intention of, bringing forth the energies that are going to benefit. And so apparently now he's going to bed so much easier, and he's, responding. Some things take longer, but it's the newest thing. It's the newest thing that I'm doing in the way of working with the dragons. And as far as like the attunements, it's really, once I have someone on a Zoom call with me, they let me know what's going on. I ask them where they're at. I'll do some card readings, and then I'll do some channeling of messages, and then I'll channel the dragons for, whatever attunement is meant to come through for where they're at. So it's been interesting to see what happens in people's lives, because sometimes it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it's like a trickle effect, because
Right.
it happens in a quantum, but in our 3D reality maybe it doesn't happen as fast.
Yeah, it just unfolds over the time. And so sometimes after these attunements, like a person's soul language can activate, or they can strengthen their own connection and start working with the dragons
Yeah, all of a
themselves.
sudden things happen that they were waiting for to manifest. Things manifest for them that they've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Like it's just it blows my mind. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like
Wow. So you mentioned the Sophia Dragons, that
Oh yeah.
one of
So
the, I know that you have some experiences.
yeah, so interesting. It was before I found the dragon in the sky. I received a healing, and it was a reconnective healing. Uh, and at the end of this reconnective healing session, I wound up going online and listening to Kaya Ra, who wrote the Sophia Code, but I was listening to her broadcast a day early. I had time jumped. And it was so wild. So I was like, whoa, I guess I needed to hear that a day early. And I never had time jumped in my life. And so before that, and it was just this really wild, it was almost like the healer had tethered me back to universe, back to Mother Gaia, and then like things were just coming online. And so right at that moment, Sophia Code comes online, and it's like, oh, okay. So I started listening to it, and I'm like crying every time I listen to it.
Mm.
Like every time I listen to it, I'm in tears. And then the dragons appear. And it was just like, and then so fast forward, I get the book, I listen to the book, and then I buy the book, and everything about the book, I wanted, that's like how I started really working with the dragons, because I felt like reading that book, it just brought them like closer. And so when I got to Mount Shasta, I was finishing the book, and I was reading the last chapter, which was the 777 dragons, and in which you do a sorry um your dragon light body, your golden dragon light body. And so I got to do that at a portal in Sedona.
Wow.
And it was wild because like I could feel the dragons with me. I could feel them with me, and it was super powerful. And so ever since then I started leading book readings to read the book with other people, because Shantae and I started doing that together.
Yeah,
And
we did
we have,
your
remember?
activations together.
Yeah, we did that together and we found that reading them out loud was so much more powerful, but and than doing it by yourself. And so then we were having these really wild experiences where we could feel Mary Magdalene, or who was it?
It
Who
was
was
Kuan
it?
Yin.
Kuan Yin. We could
Yeah.
feel them in the room. We could feel their energy. It was so wild. It was almost like we were in our space, but we were also in the other space at the same time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Definitely pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're expanding what you do. And you shared a little bit of how you got there, a little bit about your childhood. Is this what you intended to do? And if not, how did you get to here from where you started?
So, well, I always knew I wanted to be an artist. That part I knew. Um, and then I got to a point, all this stuff with the dragons and the light language, I had no clue. Like that, I had no idea that I would be doing Reiki and all this the way that I do it. But but I will share because it's like it's been an interesting timeline. Uh, 4 years ago, I was kind of depressed. I went through another little depression, little dip.
Mhm.
Um, but I was really into network marketing. I was getting really into network marketing, and I'd stopped painting for a really long time. And I had a coach that said, "What are you joyful about? What brings you joy?" So I started this program, this mindset program through a company called Growth You, and I started painting again. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there and I'm painting, and I'm like painting butterflies, and I'm like, ooh, I want to start combining healing and painting together and teaching people how they can paint and heal themselves. And all this stuff started to like come in, and I want to paint intentional paintings. I want to paint and guide people and teach them how they can do that. And it just started, and I started writing it all down.
Mhm.
And I continued to paint, and I was painting all these butterflies, and I was on the phone with someone, and she started telling me about this book. Uh, and I get off the phone with her. Oh, it's the about the nine realms. How to do it Pleiadians. Oh my god, I can't think of her name right now. But there's something about the Council of the nine dimensions. All was all about Pleiadians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I get off the phone with her, and I wound up seeing a post about uh, these people needing to an artist for an art show for NAMI, which is like a National Alliance of Mental Illness. So I'm like, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna be an artist for this event. I didn't know how, but I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And so I did it, and I got all these people together to make these butterfly masks. And so it's just like that was the beginning of the channeling, because I was doing things that I didn't know how to do. I was like, so it's like it catapulted. So eventually, like all these little threads, I'm like, as I'm thinking I'm not even thinking to tell you, it's just all coming out. So I feel like when I set the intention to want to do these things to teach people to be more authentic and painting, the opportunities just kept coming up. And then before you know it, I had a friend I was in a room, I was in a place at Cosm, at Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. I was there to learn about visionary painting. And all of a sudden, I'm channeling in front of Alex and Allison Gray.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't know I was channeling at the time. I found out after because I was like, that was really weird. It was like something came over me and I was talking about things in a really wise way, like different than I normally do.
Do you
And then
remember what, I mean, what you were speaking about during your channeling or not?
I was talking about oneness. I was
Oh,
talking about oneness and how all interconnected we are. That's all I remember. But after that, it was like, oh, you were channeling. Oh, what's channeling? And then once once I knew what channeling was, it was like, oh, then there's these people who channel and they channel these different beings. And I once I got on that, it was like game over. I mean, and sometimes I'm like, how do every interview is a practice of explaining, of sharing the story and different things come up. But it's just so wild because I feel like I was channeling so much younger than longer than I really was.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
I would think it'd be in quite an altered state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, for me, it hasn't felt like an altered state of consciousness because I feel like I go back and forth.
Mhm.
So
So it's just another state that's different from this state or that state. Yeah.
like I can go
Like,
into channeling like that.
we'll be having conversations and we'll be speaking in English and then you'll say something in soul language and then switch back. And so, it's always a very multi-dimensional with you.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Out of curiosity, because this keeps coming up to ask, have you thought about working with clay?
Yes, I have. And it's so funny because I even bought a thing at Michael's. And I have a friend, actually, it's really funny because I have a friend that I just saw for the first time in a really long time. And I was just telling her how I want to work with clay again.
I think so. Here's how I received the information. As you were using your hands to talk, it was like you were sculpting and molding. And I just saw you working with clay. And the thought came through, you're putting activations into the clay, just working with it. And you can even just, work with the clay, not necessarily creating anything. And then once it feels complete, you pinch off a piece and make a little figurine, like for people's altars or whatever.
Oh my God, I love that.
I love that. That is so.
That is
That's
so
what I saw.
amazing. I love that. Well, it's really interesting that you said that. That's wild. Because I had a reading a few years ago in the beginning of all this, and well, this stage of it anyway. And she told me about me working with clay. She
Huh.
had, I had received the message about me eventually working with clay. And I worked with clay when I was in college. I was so into it. I loved it. In fact, I have a piece downstairs that I really love, and it's like funny. It's like it looks like a cat. And but I was making reliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was making reliefs, and I was saying to my friend, I was like, I want to make reliefs again. And she's like, I want to hook up with you and do intuitive painting. I'm like, awesome. Let's do something. And it's just everything is all about timing. I really believe in divine timing.
Hmm.
It's so
So yeah, I actually see these though as you working with the clay and infusing it with the energies and then creating charms for charm bracelets or figurines for wherever people want to put them. It could be an altar, it could be just on a bookshelf or whatever.
car.
And maybe even in the form of a dragon.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
drag.
yeah. It's so funny because I have all this polymer clay, like
Mhm.
Sculpey. I have so much of it, and I keep meaning to like go use that just to like because I already have it, and it's all colorful. Um, but I also want to get in the studio and like play. I love it. This
Yeah.
is great. Thank you for that. This is like, ooh, it's like, what now? Let's go play with clay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just like so excited about that. Yeah. This has been like so much fun. Yeah, it's been a journey, and I'm super grateful to be here with you. Um I don't know if you guys want to share like how are you all doing? I mean, how's things going with you?
Well, this is about you.
Okay.
This is about you. Um, Hopefully being inspiring, right? If nothing else, you are certainly modeling how to go with the flow and follow the energy.
Modeling.
Modeling, modeling play, modeling behavior.
I want to share one with you. I wanted to share something with you. I feel like something wants to come through my throat.
Mm.
Okay.
You would be open to me sharing
Oh,
some?
Oh,
absolutely. Sharing with all three of us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Muchas gracias, Shania, tu querer, la quería Shania, tu ku. But this is one of the ones that I did in a live event.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's gonna be
Interesting energy.
yeah.
I'm
I think this.
feeling into it. It has, wow, it has really interesting.
Well, there's a lot of movement there.
Yeah. There's a lot of wisdom and it's really peaceful.
This is a late code I did for a person that signed up for one of the lives. And I'm gonna mail it to her but that's one of the things. I have some events coming up uh this weekend, but by the time this airs it'll be
But you continue doing events, right?
yeah, I have more events. I'm very involved with a soul group. They have a Facebook group called Sayuna Stay. And so I do a lot in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be doing these intuitive art sessions. And I have a friend, Lorna, in May 15th, we're going to be doing the first one where we're going to be using my art like oracle card, where we're going to be doing readings off my artwork.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so very excited about that. So we're gonna also be the people that sign up for it, they will have the opportunity to feel into, their intuitive gifts and use their intuitive guidance for them to see, feel, experience what the painting is sharing with them. So it's kind of like a mixture of like sharing my artwork, but also like an intuitive guidance class at the same time.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. So, but that's something I'm really excited about. And it was my my Oracle friends, my Oracle sisters' idea to do that, which is even better because it's someone else wanting to do this with my artwork. I feel like there's so much in there. And so a lot of people don't like, they look at my artwork and they, they don't necessarily know what's going on there because I feel like it's very multidimensional. So, and not everybody, it's like it's a gateway. I feel like a
Yes.
gateway.
And
Mhm.
another thing just came through for what it's worth. This will be kind of like a process that you do with yourself. And you're going to, you've gotten this information already. I'm just confirming it. Creating a 48 card deck with your paintings that people can do readings with. And what I'm seeing is the painting on one side and then a word on the other side, like what literally just popped up was courage. So the English word, or if it's translated in another language, is courage. And then the painting on the flip side, that is your painting, your artwork, is going to be the activation codes to, this is how I'm hearing it and interpreting it, to facilitating activation of a balanced way of expressing courage.
Wow.
And it'll be called the balance deck. Does that sound right? The balance deck.
I love that. Well, I didn't know that it was going to be 48 cards.
But you knew that you were going to be making it, because I remember we talked about this at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
deck.
And I thought that I was going to be like making the artwork for the oracle cards, but I feel like the artwork is happening and then they're going to become oracle cards.
Right, exactly.
It's
Have
like,
you ever seen a deck called the soul cards?
yes, I have it.
And
I have
so
it.
something similar to
Yeah,
that.
and oh my God, those cards I bought, and I'm like, this is true. You can't rely on the book on that one.
You can, but every time you look at them, something new comes out, and you really have to use your intuition. There also is another deck that is very intuitive. It looks like ink blocks, and some of them are very monster or cartoonish or whatever. I think it was Craig Hamilton Parker or whatever that English psychic is, but he's done a set of cards that are like ink blocks, and every time you look at them, they're different, but you can see different faces come out or different figures like lions or butterflies or all sorts of things that come out depending on the reading. And every time you turn them over, or every time, whichever way it faces, different things come out. So it's working with intuitive decks are very interesting to work with, because one, you can't get them wrong, but then at the same time, you really have to rely on your intuition about what's coming through, and it gets you started about what your intuition is, not necessarily what
The book says.
truly, it's just, here's a gateway to start a conversation.
I
And
love
so
that. Thank you. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
We never know what's going to happen during these conversations.
I love it.
Follow the energy.
So, okay, so I'm feeling into an intention, and I feel like since you brought up courage, and I feel like a lot of people can really benefit from courage in these times, courage to be themselves, courage to just speak their truth, courage to just be themselves. Really, I feel like sometimes just being able to be authentic takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm gonna set the intention of, I am setting the intention of bringing forth some light language to activate more courage vocally. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love
Usale sotokore sakuniale tokore saria tokore shina o asayana ya no ilalaya la utokre shani tare usalaya shalaya kare usaria kriyanana usane alaya kare asayishana usa ye ya ye usa kare ta 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 kare ta uso kare ta 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 kare ta 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 kare ta ta Isa dolores a criata carita que criata sakare tigricia waya. I almost flipped my computer over.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
got into that. Thank you so much. The
Thank you.
energy of that is very incredibly gentle and flowing. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
It is. And I felt all of this flowing in my throat. And it was like the energy was tugging my earlobes and moving all in these really beautiful patterns. Thank you.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you. This has been so wonderful. I just love doing these things, and doing it here with you is like extra special.
Well, I absolutely love having you here with us and inspiring us.
Yes, thank you. So do you have a specific type of client you're looking for? Or just anybody who's drawn to you?
I really feel like magnetize the clients that I'm meant to work with. Like they're basically like soul family meant to come to me.
Mhm.
But in generally, I feel like those who are looking for more like that it's they're very open-minded, they're very open to like high frequencies, or I feel like they're just on that precipice of of expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to really say, to be honest. I feel like I feel like it's I haven't really given a lot of thought to that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You're allowing.
Well,
Yeah.
I just feel that on the precipice of expansion is really interesting and clear way to describe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree.
And because I feel like the ones that are meant to come to me will come to me. I just have to put myself out there a little bit more to
Mm-hmm.
assist with the facilitation of like, oh, yeah, you're the one I've been waiting for.
Makes sense.
Um, but really, I think that I'm an allowance. I like the way I'm an allowance of being here for those that feel called to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of putting yourself out there, I'd like to share, and this of course will be on the outro of the podcast,
Okay.
but you're on Instagram,
Yes.
Light Language Dina,
Yes.
and also Butterfly Drag Heart.
Yes. Well, it's really supposed to be butterfly dragon heart, but I needed to abbreviate it.
Yeah, I figured out it was dragon though.
Yeah.
And kudos to you for instead of doing butter drag heart. That creates a different picture entirely.
That's so funny.
And then on Facebook, also Light Language Dina.
Yes. Try to keep it consistent, you know. The
And what is
butterfly
Linktree?
Linktree, well, the Linktree is a place where I can put all my links.
Ah, so that one is Light Language Dina, 3 words instead of 1 word.
I guess so. However,
That's how it's written.
oh, okay.
Light space language space Dina. each word, first letter of each word capitalized. And that's on Linktree.
Yep.
So is that like a website?
I'm using it as my website because I could just basically put all my links for my events, and
Ah,
I also have this a site that I'm using. It's called Coffee Shop, and
oh,
that's where I'm starting to put my art for sale and my
mhm.
sessions. So that link is in the link tree. So
So that's the important one.
the important one is Linktree because then they can see where I am.
And what you're doing and how to participate.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm having a challenge with the Linktree though, with putting my Facebook events there. For some reason, it's not liking the event page
Huh.
links. But anyway, but yeah, so if you go to if someone were to go to my link tree, then they would see my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube, my coffee shop, all of it.
Etc.
Yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause I
All
don't have a
right.
website yet. I'm holding off on that. I'm holding off on that.
Well, you
Well,
have
it's
the
not gonna,
link. They're like the branches and the leaves of your events.
Yeah, I like that. And the thing is, like, a lot of people do websites and it's great, to each his own, right? Just,
well, you need one that lets you just put your art on there all over the place.
there is, I've been looking at the different ones for that. And that's the thing. I haven't yet decided, but I'm really leaning towards this art storefronts.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's an investment. It's an investment, a financial investment
Yeah.
that I just haven't felt called to make yet. But I feel like it's possible. It's
Mm-hmm.
anything's possible. It's like,
I'm hearing the songs from Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. It's possible.
I love all your messages today. Thank you.
Um, so the impression I get is that you have a mission of helping others find and express on a consistent level their authentic self, the truth of who they are. And the vision, I guess, would be doing that through your light language, your soul language, all the variations thereof, your art in whatever form it takes. Have I left anything out here?
I really can't think of anything. I just really want to bring people to more bliss.
Bliss is nice.
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
Thank you. It's just it's part of the finding your bliss, finding that bliss state is just so possible. And I just feel like not everybody knows that it's within them,
Mhm.
you know. Just just a little turning of the key, a little uh I feel like it's just allowing ourselves to be who we are.
From a soul place, not an ego place.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And can you, oh my God, my dings. Oh, yeah. I forgot to turn my dings off.
Well, that ding was confirming that it's from a soul place.
Right. And the
Oh, I like
part
that.
of
The ding
us.
for the purpose. I love that. Well, yeah. I feel like it's an ever evolving journey, but I feel like that's my mission.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to write a mission statement, that would catalyze it.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of the aspects of you that you've shared.
Thank you for having me. This
Thank
was
you for
great.
being.
Thank you. Thank you, Shantae, for inviting me and all of you do. Oh my God, I'm getting tongue-tied now. All that you do. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on today. It has been truly, I know I haven't said a lot, but I've just been fascinated by everything that you do, and have just really been taking a lot of mental notes, and so it has been lovely to meet and talk with you, and just feel the joy that you express is wonderful to feel.
Oh, wow. I have no words for that. Thank you. That's so
So
sweet.
welcome.
Well, I look forward to connecting with you all more offline, online,
However that works.
however, let's have another conversation to be continued.
Yay!
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
We hope you have enjoyed our conversation with Dina Ziskin-Fortune. Dina can be reached at the website on linktree.com, Light Language Dina. That's https://linktr.ee/LIGHTLANGUAGEDINA. She can be found on Facebook at Light Language Dina, on Instagram as Light Language Dina, on YouTube as Light Language Dina, and her products can be found on Ko-Fi.com under Light Language Dina. Please take a moment to visualize our planet Earth bathed in white light. Everything within, on, and surrounding the planet filled with this white light. And all energies in whatever form moving into and staying balanced for the highest good of all concerned.